1 o'clock to order. Pastor Joe Collins, please.
Good afternoon. Mr. Scott said he sends his regrets that he couldn't make it today,
Okay.
and so I'm standing in.
Okay.
Father God, we come before you today, and as we begin this meeting, we ask for your favor, for your direction, for your wisdom, and Lord, for each of these members to go according to their conscience and their constituents as they work the best for our community and for our county. Lord, we thank you that we have an opportunity to make decisions based off of good information. And I pray that we would be diligent as our commissioners to work from the best information available and make the best decision to responsibly lead us. We thank you for the opportunity to do that, Jesus. And we pray these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Collins. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Carrie.
Commissioner LaHaye.
Here.
Commissioner Ludlow.
Here.
Commissioner Bray. Here. Commissioner Fournier. Here. Commissioner Britton.
Here.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Here.
Commissioner Peterson.
Here. We have the agenda in front of you. Is there any additions to the agenda? Bessie, do you have anything? Anybody else? Not entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written. Motion by Commissioner LaHaye, support Mr. Fournier. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Public comment, 3-minute time limit per person. You come up, state your name and your address, and I have some cards, so we'll use them first. Mr. Duncan.
Hello, I'm Bruce Duncan, 127 Barrington Circle. Business address is 348 Long Rapids Plaza. County board members, it's a privilege to be able to talk to you guys today. It's kind of cool to be here. And thank you for the opportunity to address you on the concern. I own Thunder Bay Physical Therapy and Balance Center. Some of you may have been there. Behind our main building, we have a garage named The Workshop, also known as Thunder Bay Work Health. Our Work Health program is a newer program and specializes in work comp rehabilitation, injury prevention, fit for duty testing for employers, pre-employment testing, DOT commercial driver medical cards, pre-employment physicals, and finally drug and alcohol testing, which brings me to the reason to address you today. On January 14th, True North Radio reported from the Court and Public Safety Committee meeting that the Sheriff's Department is offering employment, drug, and alcohol breath tests to employers in the area. Those are pre-employment tests. The report states that Sheriff Eric Smith was, quote, initially worried about competing with local companies. However, he then thought, we need to be more business-like. Business-like sounds great. The Sheriff's Department, however, is a tax-funded government entity which pays no county, state, or federal taxes. They use equipment purchased and maintained by tax dollars, personnel funded by tax dollars, and a building funded by tax dollars. Apparently, they don't see an issue with competing directly against tax-paying businesses which fund them. In contrast, I purchased my equipment for someone to perform the tests in my building and pay significant tax. If the Sheriff's Department is undercutting, for reference, last year I paid more than $40,000 in local taxes, a significant portion of which pays for the building that they now compete with me against. The new building, that being the jail. Without tax-paying local businesses, we don't have a jail building. Sheriff Smith's concern about directly competing and taking away customers from local business should have been the point at which he realized the unethical position. He reported comment of, we need to be more business-like, contains one onerous flaw. Sheriff's Department is not a business. It does not have the challenges nor the characteristics of a business. It is not an even playing field nor a fair competition. Most of all, it is misguided and wrong. I asked the county board to investigate this matter and asked the department to cease and desist offering drug and alcohol tests to the general public now and in the future. Local businesses ready to take up the slack, pay our taxes, and support the mission of the Sheriff's Department, which is as it should be. Appreciate your time. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I will need to get back to work here shortly.
Yeah, we don't comment on public comments, so thank you for,
Okay, I'm
You're concerned.
commenting, you're not commenting, I got it.
okay, yeah, there we go.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. Richard, is it Magda?
My name is Richard Matter. I live at 103 Bristol Court, and I want to say thank you to commissioners for the opportunity to speak. I want to thank you for taking the Third Street extension and holding off and wanting to study that further before you take any action on it. I'm speaking out because I have a lot of concerns because I'm opposed to the extension. And with only just 3 minutes, I'm going to try to cover the highlights of the ones that I'm really has concern for me. First of all, the Road Commission has done no current due diligence or study to find out if the assumptions that were made in the original 2003 transportation plan are still valid in extending the Third Avenue to Tamarack to 32. Traffic volume is another concern I have. Currently, there are 77,000 cars a day go through the M32 Bagley intersection on average, according to MDOT's traffic studies that they have. 12,000 vehicles travel south on Bagley. So if we connect Third Avenue to Tamarack to 32, what we're doing is we're providing an offload for a great majority of traffic. Even if you look at just 50% of the traffic of that 12,000 that goes south on Bagley, we're looking at 6,000 vehicles that will go down Third in front of the school by residents who like to walk and bike like I do, and there's very little sidewalk out there. And I see that as a big safety issue for the residents that go there, the students that walk to school, to the high school and to the junior high, and for the parents that drop off their children at the junior high trying to enter and exit the school that's there. Not to mention the concern about cars or vehicles entering or exiting M32 at Tamarack, where the Road Commission cannot put in a light until there's been studies done by the state and by the state police. And also there's the speed limit of 55 miles an hour that the Road Commission is planning to put on that road extension. So it's a big concern for me for the safety. Also, given the current elections and how the strains are on, the stresses are on the county budget, I think that the county can ill afford to contribute funds to fund that road. Especially if you take, for example, the Winia Road exit a project that they have. The township is already faced with an overrun of an increase in what they estimated the cost of that project would be. So they're saying $2 million is going to be good to cover it. Now they come out and say, well, it's actually going to be less. I find that hard to believe given the cost of equipment in that. And lastly, the Road Commission doesn't need our permission to build that road. But what we need is your voice. If you choose that this is something you don't want to go forward to with, we need your voice to advocate for us that we take and stop this project and take the considerations of the residents. Thank you very much.
Sir. Michael Kramer.
Hey, it's Michael Kramer. I live on Fair Avenue in Alpena. And I'm talking to you today as a citizen at large, even though I normally would report to the planning committee. But in what I'm dealing with right now, I think it's important that I mention it to you. First of all, I made the last city council meeting, and it was a very interesting meeting. A lot of stuff was discussed. And one thing that came up and it popped a thought in my mind was the contribution to the ASPC. the animal shelter north of town. And in that, I didn't see any mention of contributions to the animal shelter at the fairground. In my quest to become mayor, I run petitions around town and talk to those people that run that shelter. And apparently it's pretty difficult because they get all the dogs from the city, but they get no contribution. So they're taking money out of their pocket to feed the animals. And I went back there actually this morning just to verify that that's still what's happening. And that's exactly what's going on. All the animals there are from the city, and there's no contribution from the city, and they're still contributing to buying food for the animals from their own pocket. So I am going to go back to the city and talk to them about that because I don't think that's fair. It's not fair, period, for the people that work there, and it's not fair for the county who runs that shelter. So I just want to let you know that's what's going on. And if there's any questions, you can definitely ask me that, but chances are you can talk to me afterwards if you don't want me to do it. Thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you. Anybody else?
There's no one else I can respond in public comment.
Yeah, you can do it.
Rachel Smolinski, here on behalf of the city. So just to respond to that, the shelter, I believe, is funded through license fees that are paid by city residents. So there is funding from the city that's going into that. So I just wanted to make that clarification. Thank you.
Anybody else? Public comment? Anybody online? Okay, we'll close public comment. Rachel, you should probably get still back up there.
I was just trying to keep everything separated.
I'm going to join Rachel just because there are any questions I might be able to address.
Yep. So do we have, oh, there's Mac McClelland online. So thank you for having us here with our request for the US 23 Corridor Improvement Authority resolution of support and waiver. I believe that all of you have a memo and hopefully have had a chance to review that. I'm happy to answer any questions from that memo. But we have Mac McClellan, who has been a consultant for Brownfield and other issues, here to do a brief presentation, and you should also have that in your materials. And then we can, Mike and I can help answer any questions from that. So with that, Chairman, if you're
Yes.
ready for Mac to start,
Go ahead.
have him introduce himself.
Very much, Rachel, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mac McClellan, as Rachel said. I'm a consultant for the city of Alpena. I've been for some time, and actually prior to that, I was the deputy county administrator in Grand Traverse County. So I both understand about government, county government, and feel your pain. I just wanted to run through the Corridor Improvement Authority. I'll see if I can share this and let me know if things are working. There, can folks see that?
Yep.
Wonderful. And then does it advance was the other question.
Yes.
Okay, great. Great. I think we're in operation now. Just kind of wanted to run through the overall approach for the Corridor Improvement Authority, its reasonings, how it works and how it operates. Talk about the establishment of a Corridor Improvement District, and then the implementation plans, the development plan and tax increment financing plan, about those, and then talk a little bit about the process for establishing and operating the Corridor Improvement Authority. In summary, the Gardens of Alpena has a purchase agreement for about 10 acres of city property along US 21 North for a major facility, independent living and assisted living memory care senior facility. Estimated at about $47 million, over $47 million worth of investment. Part of the challenges with these projects is, as we all know, that increased construction costs and interest rates really present a significant financial challenge, and the project can't proceed without some sort of community financial support, which in this case is essentially property tax relief. The Gardens has come to us, said they're very interested in the project, very excited about it, but really need some sort of support to be able to make the project viable, financially viable. And so the mechanism that we've looked at to try and provide the best possible opportunity was through a corridor improvement authority. And that really provides for the capture of increased taxes generated by the project. So it's only related to those future taxes that in the capture of those taxes to reimburse some of those expenses as laid out within the plan. The city council is going to consider establishing the authority in the district and appointing the authority board on the 3rd, and with the development and TIF plan approved on March 3rd. And the portion of the taxes that are captured, include city taxes, county taxes, community college, and library. And so what we are requesting is a resolution of concurrence and waiver of exemption for the county board, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, about the stipulations of that. So today, requesting your consideration of that resolution for the Corridor Improvement Authority. So the Corridor Improvement Authority is established under state law. It's part of the broader Tax Increment Financing Act as a component to that, Part 6. It allows the city council to establish a corridor improvement authority and district after extensive public notification process. There's been notifications to the county as well as long as the other taxing jurisdictions, notices published in the paper and posted in the location. So you establish the authority in the district, and then included is you're going to lay out a development plan, a TIF plan, which talks about each of the components and how the projects may be implemented there. That's approved by the authority and the city council, and it really lays out all the development activities and how tax capture is going to work as well. And then also importantly, there's a development agreement that's executed between the Gardens of Alpena in this case and the Corridor Improvement Authority to outline roles and responsibilities. How is all of this going to work? What obligations does the garden have to complete the project and to capture taxes? What responsibilities does the authority have to capture taxes and reimburse those expenses? So the actual Corridor Improvement District, we're calling it the US 23 North Corridor Improvement District. It's east of 23 and south of Hamilton Road, up in the northern part of the city. It includes Alpena Community College and Alpena Public Schools property, primarily because we have to have 5 members on the Corridor Improvement Authority board, and 3 of them have to be property owners within the district. So it was expanded to include the college and school property as well, so we could meet the requirements of the act for the authority board. In development activities and TIF capture, tax capture, are only going to be limited to the gardens property. There are other properties that are being considered for redevelopment. This development plan and TIF plan is only going to relate to the gardens property specifically. So as I mentioned, local taxes are including city, county, community college, and library are subject to capture. The school operating and state education tax is not captured and will continue to support schools, as well as the Alpena Public School debt millage is also not capturable. And the proposal is that 90% of the taxes would be captured and reimbursed back to the gardens, and 10% of those new taxes would be allocated to the taxing jurisdictions for a period of 20 years. After that point in time, the all of the taxes would come back to the taxing jurisdictions, including the county. Just rough estimates are it's about it escalates a bit, but it's about $8,000 or $9,000 that would immediately come to the county with escalations, and then after that time, approximately $70,000. I think I'll correct that in just a minute. But so there's significant benefits to the community, to the county as well, plus all of the jobs that are included as well, and even the potential for freeing up some housing within the community for other folks, for people that move into the gardens. And as I mentioned, after that 20 years, local taxing jurisdictions get 100% of the taxes generated by the project. There's going to be that development agreement between the gardens and the authority. It really details the roles and responsibilities, how the financial arrangements are going to work, the reimbursement procedures, and authority protections, basically acting not as an agent, but as a financier for the projects. And essentially, if the gardens builds the facility, the authority will capture those increased taxes and cover a portion of the development costs. It takes 17 pages to say that, but that's really the essence of the development agreement there. And then again, reimbursement is limited only to tax capture generated by the Gardens of Alpena. The resolution of concurrence and waiver, there's a section in the act that provides for governing bodies of taxing jurisdictions that are subject to capture, like the county, to exempt their taxes from capture within a 60-day period of the development plan and TIF plan approval. As we mentioned, the developers are very interested in moving forward. There's a key time in order to begin construction and to complete construction in order to meet market demands. And the waiting for another 60 days until the plan is adopted and we know exactly what's going to happen is a challenge for the project. And so we have prepared a resolution. The participation of the county obviously is important to that. The city is the largest contributor to that, but the county is a contributor there. And, you know, that waiting for that 60-day timeline after March 3rd would affect the development timeline. And so what we have before you today is a request for approval of a resolution of concurrence for the project and a waiver of that 60-day exemption during that time. The proposed schedule for the project, you know, we had a resolution of intent in October. There were notices sent out. There was a public hearing on December 3rd. And as I mentioned, the authority is anticipated to be established and appointed on February 3rd with the development of the development plan and TIF plan and development agreement by all parties by March 3rd. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I got a question. You're talking about effects of millages. How about millages on there? We have a youth and rec, we have a seniors, and we have a veterans millage. Those affected.
All those villages are subject to capture. And again, I'll just say it. I was just going to say, and I'll reiterate this, that, you know, there are no taxes generated by the property now. The project, you know, can't move forward without this kind of support. And so it's an opportunity to get some dollars for each of those entities in the near term and significant dollars in later years. And Rachel may want to add on to that.
And that's what I wanted to clarify is there are no taxes coming in right now. So this is only additional income for the taxing jurisdictions. It's a 90-10, a 90% going to the developer, 10% coming into the taxing jurisdictions. As Mac pointed out, the schools are not subject to this tax. So over the 20 years, that'll bring in an additional $6 million into the schools as well. So without this tool, the Corridor Improvement Authority, this project won't happen and there won't be any taxes generated on that parcel until it's developed. Because currently the only parcels that are included in that CIA, in the authority boundary, are those that are not taxed. The only exception to that is the Edward Jones property that's out there that was recently developed and sold by the city to Eric Ferguson. So he is actually going to be a member on the authority board, but otherwise there are no taxes generated if this doesn't go through.
You got any-
I had a question. So you don't have the plan as to, I'm sure at this point, there's no design plan, you know, because you're waiting for what we're doing here. And what I would like to know is there an estimate of the 128 units that'll be dual occupancy? I mean, it says mostly there'll be dual occupancy, but I kind of wondered if the developer is going to commit to let the public know exactly how many. I know you go up to Turning Brook and, you know, out of 60, there's only 2. And I don't know what Besser's like, but that is a big, there's a big need is for dual occupancy for assisted living. And so this is kind of considered, is this assisted living, or there's another term here that's used?
Assisted living, senior housing, and also there are memory care units.
Right.
I don't know, you know the breakdown of the units.
Yeah, so there's 68 units that are going to be independent independent living units across the road from 30 memory care and 30 assisted living. So you have 68, 30 and 30 across the road from another. The 68 units, I think is the ones you're talking about here. I think some of those are 1 bedroom, some of those are 2 bedroom. I don't know what the exact breakdown is going to be in terms of, occupancy. I know that their plans included both. And they do have actually the engineering drawings. They've got other projects like this in the state of Michigan and other places in the Midwest. So they've got a pretty well formulated project in front of them, which will allow them to get started very quickly once they get the go ahead here. So those architectural plans are already designed and ready to go. And but I can't give you the specifics on.
No, I wasn't really expecting the specifics, but I kind of wanted to voice the concern as to out of what, what is being proposed, that there is enough to cover, because the statement is that it frees up housing, senior housing for, let's say, younger people. And this is this is not the first time I've heard it, the statement for the area. And I know that we have problems with housing, but that was a concern of mine. The other concern is that, and I might not be looking at this right, but I thought, and I, hate to voice, because these are things, I have things that are gut things that are questions, but I do realize that it does provide the revenue for the schools. That is a given. We know that that's going to happen. But I thought that the cost of these were a little bit higher than this area. Am I looking at this wrong? They look like they're right around 300,000, 400,000. Is that?
As far as these units, I don't know. I mean, that's the company, the developer has done a market study, I'm sure. So
Sure.
that's not something that we really get involved with.
Okay.
We're providing the tool by which this development can happen. So, that's kind of our role in this. He may be able to provide some additional information if you're interested, and we can request that on kind of what the details are.
These are just some of the concerns that I have. And the reason that I do is because a board that I'm on I'm frequently at Turning Brook. And when I see that the industry in itself in this area seems to be lacking in help, and they're always looking for help, they're struggling. And that was another concern. But like I said, that my questions are gut feelings, so I do see that it will generate the revenue. I mean, it is a given. So, and I know that the property is not generating any revenue now because the city owns it. There's no, yeah. So that was just my concern.
I would say that, just adding on to a little bit here, this project's been in the works for 4 years here. This is what these folks do. They build these sorts of independent living and senior and memory care units. So this isn't the first foray into this business for them. They've got several of them in Michigan. This will be their fourth. They have several in the Midwest. So they know this project, they know this product, and they know the demand. And they do have a national firm that they hired to come up and look at 4 counties: Alpena, Presque Isle, Alcona, and Montmorency, to determine what sort of support would there be across those 4 counties for a project like theirs. And there is exceedingly significant need that will not be addressed by their projects. There's a lot more need for independent living than the 68 units they propose, and 30 and 30 memory and independent assisted care. So they know that the market will support their project. Now, with respect to the cost of it, the lead developer has been doing this work. He's done billions of dollars of development in the state of Michigan over his lifetime. So he knows what he's doing in regard to estimating and, coming up with just the financial cost of these projects. And there's no question it's expensive today, given the, interest costs and material costs and costs of labor to do this work. So
I'm always kind of troubled about the comment about moving the seniors out and putting them into, it's as if, is there, because I'm a senior. So, I mean, and I know somebody that is in an assisted living that is occupying a dual occupancy, whose spouse is passed. So you're not going to kick them out and I just wondered how, so evidently, yes, the experience to say there's a need and like I said, my questions were gut feelings because this is new to me. I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
I would also like maybe to point out, so I'd like hearing myself talk. Y'all got a financial sheet right here.
Yeah, I made a big copy.
Yeah, so the top box right here, top uppermost box here, which represents what the county would take, this would take under this 90-10 split over the next 20 years. And so you can see in the case of the county, first year when they're under construction, $4,000, then it jumps to 8,000 when it's stabilized and it starts escalating from 8,000. To the end of the 20th year, the county would collect $11,000 under this proposal. With the box below that is incorrect. The box below that reflects all 56 mills being split among the city, county, library, and ACC. That's not correct. What should be is the local piece only, which I've corrected right here. So I think your box there probably says 250,000 approximately in year 21. The number is really 117,000. That's what the county would collect when the TIF plan is completed. So starting in year 21, 117,000, it would grow from there to 140,000 in year 30. If you assume a 2% increase every year in the taxable value of the property.
Okay.
So apologize for that. That was something I caught yesterday just in preparing for this meeting here today. I'm looking at it, so that doesn't seem right to me. Why would it jump from 11,000 to 230,000? That's not correct. So when I went back, I saw the formula problem. And
Why didn't
so I
pick up
always
on
pointed
that?
out today.
And we can send the updated sheet
Yeah.
over to Jesse to share with everyone.
But like I said, I understand that the given is that there is revenue. That is a given.
If you want to cover that, ask someone to prep two for you.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
Travis, anything? Any questions?
No, I don't think so. I agree that it's not generating any revenue right now, obviously, and I'm well aware of the need. We had a 6-month struggle to find a place for my own grandmother. And I think it could have made the end of her life a lot better than it was. And we were fortunate to have only a 6-month wait. So I do think it would be good for the community. And I was thinking about your comment with the places not being full or and whatnot. And I think a lot of that is attributed to staff.
That is the word, that's maybe my thought is that by the time this gets built, people will be interested in working again. So, because it seems like you see the signs for all of these places and every time I go up to Turning Brook or I see they're looking and the people that I visit or there's a new person or they're struggling with the people. That's all not the vacancy. I don't know that part of it.
Yeah, they are calling, they expect to create 100 jobs, 70 of which are going to be full-time here for this project.
Yeah.
And it's a question for sure.
Yeah.
And where do you house them?
Yeah, where the hell's that?
Exactly,
So
yeah,
we're working on those pieces.
yeah, I know.
So I think, my opinion is it would be a positive thing for the community.
Sure. Yeah, Todd,
Yeah, I agree. I'm in support of this.
Brenda?
I know we need it, but I cannot support it at this time. I'm not in favor.
My question's been answered. I am in favor of it.
Dan, do you think?
Mhm.
Any questions?
Support it.
Yeah.
No?
I'll support it too.
Okay. Well, you got a resolution. Jesse, you got anything you want to add?
Yes, sir.
The only thing is that, okay, before that, at the end of that resolution, that statement, that's kind of unique where you ask us to do this and then you have a thing where you say, okay, we're not going to back out of it. Is that common in resolutions?
Mac, do you have any comments on the language in that?
That's just that last paragraph. I thought, I don't know, I was kind of, intrigued by it.
It's a unique stipulation in corridor improvement authorities that I'm aware of that ability after the development and reimbursement or the development and TIF plan is completed. There are other circumstances, for example, in a downtown development authority, if there's a brownfield project, there's a specific action that the DDA has to exempt its taxes. So there's comparable kinds of arrangements in these. This is a little bit unique to corridor improvement authorities in
It's just a
waiving that
step.
exemption,
It's
but it's
typical.
required.
Okay, thank you.
Thing I got, Ted, is there any questions you got on this? Huh?
Don't have any questions.
Chairman, I do have one question. It's unrelated to the TIF, but what are these units going for roughly? Or what are these going to be on the market for? Because are we talking about seniors who can actually afford these?
Oh,
units?
yeah, this is definitely, this is private pay.
Okay.
Not Medicare kind of scenario here. And I think the 2-bedroom units are gonna be maybe 7,000, 1-bedroom, 5,000. That's for the independent living, which includes all your utilities, your meals. They call it a land cruise. For the architect.
5 to 7,000 a month? Or,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so these are
Rentals.
filling a niche here that's readily available here right now.
We have a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Britton, support. I'll support. Mr. Ludlow, any more discussion? Not, roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
No.
Commissioner Britton,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky.
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have to read this resolution. Jesse, you want to read it? Or stumble over it?
Resolution of concurrence and waiver of exemption, US 23 Corridor Improvement Authority Development Plan, Tax Increment Financing Plan, Alpena County. The regular meeting of the Alpena County Board of Commissioners held in the Commissioners' Chambers, 720 West Chisholm Street, Alpena, Michigan, on January 28, 2025 at 1 p.m. Following resolution was offered by, and I apologize, I forget the names, but we'll enter those in and supported by. Whereas the Michigan Codified Tax Increment Financing Act, Act 57 of the Public Acts of 2018, Part 6 Corridor Improvement Authorities authorizes municipalities to create a corridor improvement authority to support community goals, encourage public infrastructure and private investment, and create jobs through tax increment financing of buildings and improvements with an approved development plan and tax increment financing plan. And whereas the Alpena City Council intends to establish S23 North Corridor Improvement Authority, known as CIA, and Development District under the procedures under Act 57 on February 3, 2025. And whereas a development plan that designates the boundaries of the development area describes the proposed improvements and costs under the required elements under MCL 125.4621 and the tax increment financing, also called TIF, plan that details the tax increment procedure and impact on taxing jurisdictions and other required elements under MCL 125.4618 will be prepared for the US 23 North CIA Development District with anticipated approval by the Corridor Improvement Authority on February 19, 2025, and by the Alpena City Council on March 3, 2025. And whereas the development plan and TIF plan will support the development of the Gardens of Alpena, a 128-bed senior independent living, assisted living, and memory care facility with 100 jobs and an estimated investment of $47 million through the capture of certain local tax increment revenues, including Alpena County taxes to reimburse infrastructure and certain construction costs. And whereas because of increased construction costs and interest rates, the project would not be constructed without the capture of future tax increment incentives that would not otherwise be generated, and the inclusion of taxes allocated to Alpena County are critical to the project financing. And whereas the city of Alpena is requesting support and concurrence of the Corridor Improvement Authority establishment, the capture of future tax increment revenues from Alpena County, and request a waiver of future adoption of a resolution exempting taxes from capture as provided under MCL 125.4618 subsection 5. And now therefore be it resolved that the Alpena County Board of Commissioners concurs with the establishment of the US 23 North Corridor Improvement Authority and Development Area to support the Gardens of Alpena, and waives future adoption of a resolution exempting Alpena County taxes from capture under the tax increment financing plan pursuant to the Michigan Codified Tax Increment Financing Act, Act 57 of the Public Acts of 2018, Part 6, Corridor Improvement Authorities, being MCL 125.4602. Roll call being taken and certification listed.
Here you have motion to disperse.
Didn't we do that already?
No, yeah, we made that motion, but I mean, we have the authority to sign it now.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Right. I thought you were asking for it.
No, no. Oh, that's done. Moving on, consent calendar, you had the consent calendar attached to your, packet, anything to be pulled from there? If not, entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar. Motion by Commissioner, Lahey, support by Commissioner Bray. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Britton,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Bills to pay. Recommend to pay the bills. In front of you, any questions on the bills?
Motion, we pay the bills.
That motion by Commissioner LaHaye, support. Support by Commissioner Britton. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bray? Yes. Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Britton?
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
And Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Budget adjustment. We have one budget adjustment. Sheriff's Office. Action item one, recommendation to approve the Sheriff's Office requested transfer unused 2024 budget CPE funds in the amount of $22,923.93 $93.80 to 2025 budget expenditure line item 101-301-969-016. CPE, so the funds can be spent to cover training costs that will be incurred in the fiscal year 2025 to meet the state required mandates as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Britton. Support
I'll support.
by Commissioner Konashevsky. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Britton?
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
Commissioner Bray?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Jesse.
So the first item we have, and I apologize, I tried getting an answer for the attorney in a timely manner, but he's juggling 3 different items for us right now. So we put up the second amendment for the airport lots that we sold to Mr. Jennings. We've hit numerous hiccups and other issues. In order to streamline the process, the chairman and I did attend a meeting with the city and other individuals. It was decided it'd be best just to move forward with the amendment that's on here. However, the attorney does have just a couple of questions on words like, so for example, the word acceptable, he thinks may be meant to be accessible, and then just clarification on without easement. Mr. Jennings has been waiting quite some time to get going on this project. So I would ask the board, with the attorney working through this and just making sure that we keep the spirit of the intended project underway and making sure we're not picking up any additional work or money, or costs rather, that either myself or the chairman would be able to sign this amendment once we just get clarification on those 2 items and the attorney signs off. Hopefully we can do that by the end of the week so Mr. Jennings can get going on this.
Got an entertain a motion for that.
I'll make
that motion by Commissioner Ludlow, support. Commissioner LaHaye. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, Jesse, it's your plate now.
Thank you. All right, the next item is, we did have the resignation of one of our attorneys for legal representation, Ms. Burke. We did put out notice to the legal community here and I think in nearby counties. And we only had one applicant, Ms. Conklin, who actually had previously held that position, is interested in taking it up again. Usually if we would have had multiple applicants, this would have went through personnel, but because we only had the one, and because of time constraints, Ms. Burke has some family issues to attend to in the beginning of February. We're looking to place Ms. Conklin in position and sign off on, or me being able to sign off on the contract to bring her on board day one.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Konashevsky or Commissioner Britton. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Britton?
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky?
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye?
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow?
Yes.
Commissioner Bray? Yes. Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The next item are just some transfers that we have to do. There are a couple of corrections from the memo I sent today, and talking with our treasurer. Recently met with our auditor, and there's just some tweaks in how we do things, and there's some misunderstandings I had as well from the transfers. So if you look at the first portion, we're looking to transfer 89,000 from line item 101-306-704.000 to the following funds. 39,000 to 101-301-702.002, which is deputies payroll. 29,000 from 101-351-702.008 to correction officers payroll. 8,000 from line item 101-351-702-009, which will balance out the shortage we had for the master controller. And 13,000 to line item 101-265-803.000 for our liability insurance payment we have to make this year. Additionally, I'm looking for $9,830 to be taken from the contingency fund, line item 101-941-955.000. And that will go into the general liability fund so we can get that paid, 101-265-803.000. So that would basically take care of any of those adjustments. The one addition I am asking for, and it's minor, I'm happy to bring it forward in the future, but it was minor, so I thought I'd try today, is taking, we had agreed to cover MSU Extension's phone bills for this year, which is a total of $800. That was after the budget was already done, and we were still kind of working with them to try to figure out how we can get them up and running. And so for that, I guess to that end, I'm looking to transfer $800 actually from my own department's travel expense, line item 101-173-860.000 to the MSU telephone line item 01-710-850.000. Those would be the only transfers I request today.
We want to handle these all at once or just do it as we do them all? We can have to do it all at once and entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion as corrected by Jesse.
Commissioner Britton, any support?
Support it.
Commissioner LaHaye, any discussion, please? Dot, roll call.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Britton,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
The final item is, speaking of liability insurance, just getting permission from myself or the chairman to go ahead and sign off on that contract with Alpena Agency for the 2025 year.
Everybody had it in their packets. Any questions? What was rate increase on that?
Second, I think. It was around $34,000 difference. We weren't expecting such a hike, but with climbing costs in different areas, that's the number that was given to us. I will say that there was no, the Plaza Pool had not yet come under county control at that point, so it was never brought up. However, after we were given the contract, we did reach out to them to see what it would cost to add the Plaza Pool on, and they added it for no additional cost. So that helps.
I entertain a motion to pay the insurance.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fournier. Support.
I'll support.
Support by Commissioner Konashevsky. Any discussion?
All right, Chairman, just it's to pay and also to allow either myself or the chairman to sign off on it.
Sign off on it. This did go out to bids, right?
Not sure. I'll have to check on that. I believe so, but I will double check on that.
Don't remember seeing anything on it. Gotta be paid. Any more discussion? We check on that from the investors. Roll call, please.
Commissioner LaHaye,
Yes.
Commissioner Ludlow,
Yes.
Commissioner Bray,
Yes.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Britton,
Yes.
Commissioner Konashevsky,
Yes.
Commissioner Peterson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Facility report of special and ad hoc committees, District 1, Commissioner LaHaye.
We have Board of Health update January 21st. Financial status as of November 30th, 2024, total assets $1,939,058. Total liability, 1,069,087. Total revenue, 827,855. Total expenses, 892,120. Net operation, 64,235. Fund reserve is 942,306. The doctor's report was provided an update on alcohol and cancer risk. It's Radon Action Month, public health monitoring through wastewater surveillance, food and safety prevention, and cervical health, respiratory illness trackers, and the environmental, Kevin Prevost talked about, land use work continues to remain low as expected during this time of year. Some on-site projects remain ongoing, but public demand is low. January is Radon Action Month, and the DDH4 is offering radon test kits for $5 during the month. As many of you already know, the state sewage code bill died in the House at the end of 24. We will see any reduction in the new year. And the nurse director is advertising in the Sanctuary Cinema for reproductive health programs, and that started at 1/3/25. The clinic update, community corrections, community health workers program, all grant funding at this time are working diligently to detail billings and reimbursements. School wellness program at Hillman Elementary School received a grant funding for construction, which will begin April 1st, 2025. And they have the kindergarten oral health assessment program that's continuing. And that's going very well. They just started not too long ago, so that's going good. The emergency preventive supervisor, Nick Majerski, they have a generator up and going, Atlanta, and they got one in Dodger City and Alpena. And the IT supervisor stated that there's 300,000 new malwares types daily are being found, 60 million new strains in 2024. And the rest of it is just basic.
Okay. Planning Commission, Bill, anything in?
Plan Commission, yeah, we were short some members this time, so we scheduled another meeting in February, but we went through a sample survey from Northeast, for Northeast Michigan that'll be in the master plan. We went through the survey and made some corrections and cut the size of it down so it wouldn't be so hard to understand. So we made the changes there. They're gonna update the survey and they're gonna bring that back to us again. So that's all that's going on there.
Christopher Love.
Okay, NEMCOG. What we had there was the director's report. He talked about several things, but one of the things that stood out was working on a land bank brownfield management. And they're assisting other counties with their materials management and programs. And will continue to assist as needed and sit on the committees. Now, they've also offered to reach out to counties that already have this type of situation and offer their assistance to it too. And then Thunder Bay Marine Sanctuary, obviously the film festival was a big talk. And then they mentioned the ORV program for the regionals, going to be June 19th through the 21st. And then the ORV program for the world will be May. And they do have outreach programs for all ages virtually. They do have an outreach program for 8 to 14-year-olds for different things like scuba diving, stuff like that.
Mr. Bray, I apologize. I didn't get you on the court and public safety update,
okay.
but you were the only one on there. So go ahead, you can give her right that, along with the other reports.
Okay. Well, we had the action item, which we approved at this meeting for the disposable, drug kit restocking, disposable EMS supplies. So we took care of that. And then I was going to point out, though, that we're contracted with the city for, it was 12,500 for the EMS and 22,500 for the other stuff. Well, we paid what was contracted and the city absorbed what was over. They had expenses of 12,753 and 34,000 in the EMS supplies. So they absorbed, those costs. And we had the sheriff did update on the Heather program. Is that what this drug testing is? Is that part of that or? But no, the reason I'm saying is that I don't know if to say is that when the gentleman's not here that was talking about the drug testing, I thought that the report that was given was that they'd only do it for the county employees.
Yeah, so we do offer the pre-employment screening. So we are doing ones for the county or if any other business.
That's what I was just I thought maybe it was just limited to just the county employee. That's what I wanted to clarify.
No, we actually,
wondered.
I think it started in January.
And you do.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just all I wanted to know. Okay. Then we had an update from 911 Services Director on everything that's going on. And she reported on, she does a lot of work through grants and she searches out material. So they were able to obtain new laptops and from the Homeland Security grant. And they last year had obtained a color printer, screen TV, and other miscellaneous items. And they're also talking about a training exercise to schedule with Lake State Railroad with the community partners. And she also reported that they are trying to keep the community aware of the new surcharge that is going to go on the ballot soon. And yep, our next meeting is February 10th. And so that was that. I did attend Thunder Bay Transportation. I don't know if it was on there or.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay. I attended Thunder Bay Transportation. I'm the vice president and they had, I won't go through their whole financial, they have a financial report. Their finances are very good. Everything is well run. They have a new position, leader position where they get together with Thunder Bay Transportation and dial a ride. And I think that their finances look really well. They have an auditor coming in to oversee them because one of the auditors at Straley's is on the board, treasurer board. They have their building that's fairly new that has been roof damage for quite a while. And they're working in these conditions that are really kind of not very well, but they had to go through the whole MDOT process. Now they're getting ready to do the repair. The RFP is going to be on their website next month, and they're hoping to get started on that soon. The only other thing they had an accident on one of their vans in Indian River. So undrivable, and they are going out to look for they got approval from the board to look for a used van in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, which was approved. And that's it.
Local emergency, local planning or
We
something?
didn't have any, we haven't,
Okay.
there were delays, weather delays.
Yeah, okay. District 4, the only thing I have is MOA's moving along. We're still pumping up about 7.5 million gallons down the injection well. Everything is going good there. Target, I wasn't at the Target meeting. I was out of town. Material management, I will meet on February 14th for our first full board meeting. And that's all I have. Brenda, do you have anything for 5?
No, personnel was canceled. And the other meeting I had this month that they never contacted me. So.
Anything at Parks? Nothing.
Parks. I was elected chair of Parks. We have, Kevin is now vice chair. And being we're just getting started, I really have nothing yet to report.
Great, thank you. Todd didn't have nothing. Travis?
Neither of my committees have met yet.
Okay. John's not here, but anything from NMMA, Bill?
We're going on, make some changes there, in personnel, and they hired a new director there, so, that's moving on pretty good.
Any special orders? Jesse? Nothing? Unfinished business? Any correspondence? Any new business? That's pretty quiet. Public comment? Anybody in the public?
Michael Kramer again. I didn't really realize what they were talking about at the city and now up here at the county until we got a wind of this property tax abatement. And I know developers from 50 years in the construction industry, they don't do anything if there's not money in it, big money. So consequently, coming up here to build a retirement center in a community that has a lot of senior citizens, and you want to free up housing in the city by moving them into the retirement center, supposedly. 90% abatement on property taxes for 20 years seems excessive to me. And I would like to see if we're going to be partners in this operation, which basically we are, because they can get very inexpensive financing with a guarantee like that from us. We are partners. We should be able to see the books. And after 15 years, if all that money we've given them is going to pure profit, they should give us a different agreement and stop taxing the citizens for profit. So I think that developers are a tricky slope. I believe we need them. They need to be able to come up here, but they don't necessarily need to be able to dictate really favorable conditions that the taxpayers have to contribute excessive money to their profit margin. That's my only concern. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Anybody online? Not, make a motion for adjournment.
Make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner LaHaye. Support. By Commissioner Forming. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Opposed.